Hello and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel SCF Wargaming Studio. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking and this is my review of Middle-earth strategy battle game Battle Companies. So this book has been long in the making for me. This book is one of the reasons why SCF was founded. One of the first videos we did was basically to keep track of everyone's warbands and inform them about who they were meeting next in the campaign and stuff like that, and it is near and dear to my heart. So a bit of history first. Battle Companies was released as a series of articles in White Dwarf about 13 to 14 years ago. It was released when just after Return of the King, when Harad and Mordor Orcs and Ministereth had come in plastic. So you had, I think, 6 or 8 warbands in the start to play with, and then there were more articles to expand on this as the game went along. Support for Battle Companies stopped well before the support for the game stopped, and people around the community took over basically, just like with Blood Bowl, just like with Necromunda, just like with a dozen other games. The community who loved this product took it over and basically made updates to the rule set as the game went along. The last update came about, I'd like to say, a year ago, including a little more than a year ago. It included things that wasn't in there and back again, but, oh, did it? Oh, I'm unsure now. So, there has been numerous updates published on both the One Ring as well as on the person who was the main proponent of its website, and this was just a great thing because it meant that the battle companies were updated. They had more warbands. The Hobbit warbands was included, not the Shire warband, but models from the Hobbit films were included as warbands, and yeah, it was a great rule set that was just continuously updated by wonderful people around the world who cared about this type of product. So I would say Battle Companies is one of the best ways to introduce new people to this wonderful hobby. The reason I say this is because most of the battle companies you will see in this book, as well as in future White Dwarf articles, we'll come back to that later, will have, you would only need to start with either a couple of blisters or a single box set of plastic troops. So this keeps the cost down for the player who wants to start the journey into Middle-earth, as well as making it simple for them to paint up, simple for them to convert up. They don't have to make a full army, they can just concentrate on the 5 to 15 models they would need for their warband to survive. So the book itself is marvellous. It is beautiful. It's the first product to have the new Middle-earth logo on it. This is wonderful. So, of course, Middle-earth strategy battle game with the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings underneath to make it sure that people know what it entails, because not everyone is known. Not everyone knows Middle-earth, but they do know Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit or both. So we get a wonderful full colour map, much like the one behind me, but not not exactly the same one. And I think the layout of the book is marvellous. It has a lot of cool artwork, a lot of cool movie shots from the film series, and it has been made with great care. I can immediately tell that this book has been wonderfully written, and great care has been taken to making this book feel like a proper product. It isn't an insert in White Dwarf, it isn't a PDF article. This is a product that I would be happy to spend the amount of money that it costs. So, Battle Companies, if you don't know already, Battle Companies is a small warband of starting with between, I think it is between 5 and 12 models. So starting off, it's between 5 and 12 models, depending on which faction you choose. And you basically pick your faction, and then it lists what models you start with. Once you've done that, you choose 3 of the models in your army, and those models are your heroes. And here comes the first change to Battle Companies. Previously, you promoted 1 to a lieutenant and 2 models to a sergeant. And the lieutenant got 1 point of might, 1 point of will, and 1 point of fate. And 2 sergeants got 1 point of fate each. In this rule set, all 3 heroes get 1 point of might, will, and fate each. But the lieutenant is the one you consider your army leader, or your warband leader. So that's something to think about. And I think it is great, because normally in a Battle Companies game where not many of the warriors have garnered experience, not many of the heroes have garnered experience, it is normally the fainting attitude who will spend their might point first, because there's only 1 might point available. Now there's 3, so there's more room for tactics with the might points, and I find that very good. So that's a good change. Also, courage rolls is pretty important in this game, and giving 3 models will to basically improve their courage rolls is also a great thing, especially if you have low courage. So yeah, that's basically the start. So in the start of the book, in the preface, it says that if we haven't covered a force you're excited about, don't panic. There's a strong chance we'll visit it in a bonus PDF download or as a White Dwarf article in the future. Watch this space. So there is plans, and we do already know about 2 battle companies that will be included in future White Dwarf articles, and 2 battle companies had been included already in November's White Dwarf 2017. So the 2 warbands that have been included already are Dale and Erebor as a combined warband, and you also have the warband of Gundabad. So those 2 rules are already found in White Dwarf. You can purchase it online through Games Workshop, either as a digital download or as a physical copy, as long as stocks last. So I do think that, and even if you're watching this video a year from now, I do think you'll find it as a digital download, or you can scour eBay for a copy. I don't think the majority of eBay sellers know the value of this product and what it will entail. Hopefully these articles will be compiled as a future supplement or as a complete PDF download through the Games Workshop website. So I do hope that we get everything in one supplement or a book. There's also talk about having a narrative campaign for the evil side in the future White Dwarf article. So because in this one there is a narrative campaign called The Quest for Fornost to Fornost, which is a good campaign. You can do it for evil, but it is recommended you do it for a good warband. Yeah, so mustering your warband. There's 22 warbands in this one, and I did forget to tell you the 2 we already know about in a future White Dwarf release, and that is Numenor, as well as, don't know what it's called, but it will entail giant spiders. So that's good to know. So first of all, you gather your force. So there's 22 in this book. There's 2 more released in November as White Wolf. That's 24 different warbands you can play, and there's a minimum of 26 because we know of 2 more. You then check what models you want in that warband, and then you promote the 3 models you want to become 1 to become lieutenant and 2 to become sergeants. They all start with 1 point of might, will, and fate, and they're treated as heroes. So they have the exact same thing as heroes for the main rules of the game, as well as the rules entailed in this, because they gain experience points a bit faster, as well as they have progression. Every model that dies during the game will roll on an injury charge. There is a definite chance that models will die during the campaign. You can of course recruit new models, and your models that garner experience points can also advance, gain experience points. The basic thing is that each hero that causes a wound gets an experience point, even though it's prevented by fate. They gain experience point for participating in a battle, and they get experience point if they win the scenario. Warriors gain experience points exactly the same way, but they don't gain experience points if they win the battle. So only heroes get experience points if they win the battle, but they gain experience points. Warriors gain experience points for causing wounds and participating in the battle. And once you reach 5 experience points, the model will progress either as a warrior, where there's a warrior progression chart. So basically on 1 to 3, nothing happens. 4, 5, the model gets promoted to whatever thing they can be promoted to. So for instance, if I have let's say I have an Isengard Uruk-hai Scout with shield. That model will become a Uruk-hai warrior with a shield, and that's as far as that model can progress. On a 6, the model becomes a hero. So in some cases you would want the warrior to progress to the next tier of warrior before they become a hero, because then they don't have to, they have a better start stat-wise as a hero. When the model becomes a hero, they gain 1 point of fate. So they do not gain might, will, but they gain the 1 point of fate. And this is also important to note. Heroes, on the other hand, get to roll on different tables. So you have, and this is a new thing as well, previously you rolled on a chart and you got stat increases, or you got a special rule, or you got a will or might point. You can still get that, but that's if you choose the combat progression chart. Now you have the combat progression chart, shooting progression chart, leadership progression chart, and the good or evil progression chart. So you basically choose one of 4 progression charts to roll on, and depending on what you roll, you can then also gain a combat skill, a shooting skill, or a leadership skill. So there's different paths to take, and all heroes can take either the good progression chart or the evil progression chart that gives you bonuses for just being good or evil. So good can gain fearless, evil can gain terror, good can get the command magical power, evil can get the transfix magical power, both can get might will on a 6, and yeah, you can get harbinger or evil for the evil rule. You can get reroll fate points for the good side. So there's loads of different things you can get, and your hero will just become better and better and better and become a character in its own right, because I think that's the most important thing about battle companies, is to treat every single model in your warband as an individual. Give the person or monster a name, make up backstories for them, treat it as a RPG if you want. It is the wonderful, wonderful way to do it. So obviously, if your model is injured, I've already explained the warrior injury chart. For the hero injury chart, there is more to it. You roll 2d6, and on a double one, you're dead. So that's poof, poof, the model is dead. Always a sad time when a hero dies, but that's the way of life. Heroes die and others take over. On a 3, you're lost in battle. So the next scenario, you will play the secure the area scenario. That's a new one, with the hero as the objective. So it basically details how to make your hero live, and if you win the scenario, it makes a full recovery, or if you lose the scenario, the model is dead. So both result 2 and 3 will sometimes gain the hero's death. It gains an arm wound on a 4, gains a leg wound on a 5, so that's not changed. And they can only have 1 arm wound or 1 leg wound. So if they gain the second arm wound, they are also considered dead. But this is not all doom and gloom, because they upgraded the full recovery result, which is on 6 to 8. And the hero may play in the next game as normal. Additionally, the hero heals 1 leg wound, arm wound, or old battle wound. So it basically heals an old wound already gained during the campaign. So this is new, and I think this is a good change, because I've seen a lot of heroes die to arm wounds and leg wounds over the time, and I've also seen like multiple battle wounds and just stuff that makes you hate that hero because it's so useless. On a 9, they must miss the next game. Alternately, you can roll again on the chart, and you must accept a new result. 10, it's an old battle wound, basically the niggling injury, if you're familiar with both Mordheim and Necromunda. And this means that you roll a d6 before the start of the game, and on a 1, the hero must miss the battle. On 11, you have the wounds of a hero, immediately gains a full recovery, and you gain d3 influence points. So influence points is what's used to buy new troops, buy equipment, and stuff like that. And on the 12, only way to get it, protected by the Valar, makes a full recovery, and +1 fate points. Sorry. So yeah, it's less of a chance to die because of arm and leg and miss games because of all battle wounds, because you will heal those during the campaign. So, for the Armory, there's a list of equipment that you can take, and it basically says what those things are worth in points, because you do, however, use points not to buy stuff, but you do use points to calculate your warband's rating. So the warband rating is quite important because of for every 15 points your warband is lesser than your opponent's, you will get 1 reroll to use during the game, not the post-match sequence, but during the game, and you will also get 1 more influence point to use. There's also unique equipment that you can buy. You can buy arrow poison, blade poison, ropes, concealing cloaks, company standards, dwarven brew, local scouts, talismans, maps, hunting dogs and wargs, war drums, and rallying horns and loads of other stuff. But new for this is also the Elvish Waybread, which automatically the warrior will count as a full recovery, although they will not heal previous wounds. And the healing herbs will give every single model in your warband, if used, +1 to the injury rolls. So I would recommend that you buy healing herbs as fast as possible and then use it once you have garnered a lot of casualties during the game, because that will basically prevent a hero from dying in the least, and it will also make it so that warriors will not die as easy. So that's cool. Loads of stuff to buy. And then we come to the battle companies themselves, and I'm going to explain a bit about the battle companies, and I will probably do a review of each battle company in its entirety as separate videos, because I want to do a review of this book in depth. But if we just take Ministereth, the first warband that you get the information about, has a bit of fluff. And it says the starting battle company is 2 warriors of Ministereth with shield, 2 warriors of Ministereth with spear and shield, and then 2 warriors of Ministereth with bow. So starting off, I would immediately recommend that you give both the warriors with shield the hero upgrade. One as a lieutenant and one as a sergeant, and then I would give one of the warriors of Ministereth with bow a sergeant upgrade as well. The advancements are Warriors of Ministereth with shield becomes a Knight of Ministereth, Warriors of Ministereth with spear and shield becomes a Citadel Guard with spear, and then Warriors of Ministereth with bow becomes a Rangers of Gondor. The reinforcements result, because you can basically purchase a reinforcement result using influence points, and you can also use any extra influence points you have as might points to upgrade the result. On a roll of 1, you get nothing. That's why it's always good to have 1 extra influence point in the store for this. On a 2, you get Warriors of Ministereth with shield. On a 3, you get a Warriors of Ministereth with spear and shield. On a 4, you get a Warrior of Ministereth with bow. And then on a 5, you get Warriors of Ministereth with any choice weapon. So all the results that gives you warriors on the first roll, you always get a Warriors of Ministereth, which makes it quite easy because a pack of 12 Warriors of Ministereth, a starting pack, will give you the start you want for a warband. So on a this special roll, which you get on a 6, which you can might up using influence points, on a roll of 1 you get a Ranger of Gondor. On a roll of a 2 you get a Citadel Guard with spear. On a roll of a 3 you get a Citadel Guard with longbow. On a roll of a 4 you get a Fountain Court. Roll of a 5 you get a Knight of Ministereth with shield, and a roll of a 6 you get to choose any result. And during hero progression you can also purchase for that hero the special hero upgrade. So this is a thing that every warband has. So for instance for Ministereth it is for the White City, which both fiefdoms and Ministereth start with, and this rule says that this model gains +1 bonus to its fight value on a turn which it charges. Rohan gets the +1 strength when it charges. Laketown gets, if they spend a point of might, every single model within 6 inches increases their fight value of 1 until the end phase. And yeah, it's loads of cool, simple rules that will benefit either the entire warband or warband within 6 inches, or just that hero. I really like the Halls of Thranduil one because this hero always counts as having rolled a 6 for any leap, jump or climb test, which makes sense. I think that is really cool. So you have 22 warbands, and I will just list them up for you. You have, of course, Ministereth, you have fiefdoms, Rohan, you have Arnor, Laketown, Rivendell, Lothlorien, Halls of Thranduil, Durin's Folk, Iron Hills, which I find is really cool, because then you can have goats. The Shire, Mordor, Isengard and Harad, that's 2 different ones, I said that too fast. Far Harad, Moria, Warg Riders, Eastlings, Dol Guldur, Goblin Town, Angmar, Corsairs of Umbar, and of course the already mentioned in White Dwarf, Dale Nerbor, plus Gundabad's. So total of 24 warbands you can start off with. Then they have made 12 scenarios, which some of them are quite similar to other scenarios used previously in battle companies. You have the chance encounter, you have plunder the camp, kill the messenger. So there's some we know already, but there's a bunch of new ones as well, and I think the breadth of different scenarios you can play really adds to a campaign. So I will of course go through the scenarios in a video of its own, but I do think that these scenarios are really great. There might be more scenarios in White Dwarf as well. Maybe they'll release another 6, so you do have 18 different scenarios to roll on. And most importantly, I think the way to play battle companies is not to just have a flat board with some pieces of scenery. Of course, this is totally available for you. But I do think that battle companies, being such a skirmish game, being such a character-driven game, you want to play in specific locations. So they have included rules for playing in different parts of Middle-earth, including Laketown with rules for doorways, boats and ice flows. And these rules are reprinted from the White Dwarf April 2017 article, which gives you the ability to fight in Laketown. And it even says that even more rules for fighting in Laketown are available in April 2017 issue. And these rules aren't the silly rules. You do have a lot of silly rules in Laketown. These are the cool normal ones, and I do recommend you play with these when fighting in Laketown. But the rest of them can also be used if you want to. You have forests, so these are for all forest use. It can be normal forests, haunted forests, spider-infested forests, guardian forests, haven forests and wrathful forests. So lots of cool special rules for forests in this. You have rules for fighting in Laketown, Goblin Town, sorry, fallen dwarf holds, haunted ruins. So loads of cool stuff you can fight through, and I do recommend you use these. And then of course it's the wonderfully written narrative campaign, The Quest to Fornost, and this is something entirely new. I don't think anything like this has been used in either Lord of the Rings or any of games before, where you basically play normal battle companies games with your warband to progress them, but at certain points you play the narrative campaign scenario. So the narrative campaign has 5 scenarios in it, and these 5 scenarios are played at intervals. So narrative campaign has 5 scenarios. It's Laketown Rescue, Beneath the Boughs of Mirkwood, The Breakthrough, Ambush at Night, and the Armory of Forgotten Arnor. So I will not spoil more than the first scenario, because that's the first one you read and the first one you will play. So when starting the narrative campaign, every single warband fights the Laketown Rescue. Then you play between 1 and 3 games of battle companies, and then you play Beneath the Boughs of Mirkwood. And then you play between 1 and 3, and then you play the Breakthrough, then you play between 1 and 3, and then you play Ambush at Night, and then you play between 1 and 3, and then you play the final scenario, which is the Armory of Forgotten Arnor. And it has been recommended that you do play as many as the 12 scenarios as possible to get the strength you need to actually finish the last scenario, because I think that will be pretty hard to finish that last scenario without taking too many losses. So the first narrative scenario, Laketown Rescue. It is played on a 4x4 foot board, and just have as many Laketown houses as possible, rickety walkways, and over the freezing lake with ice floes and boats and everything, and using the rules for the Laketown environment. The starting positions are that the battle company places all their models within 3 inches of the northernmost building. So you will need to have a building quite near the north, but a building can't be within 3 inches of the northern board edge, or any board edge for that matter. Then the Laketown player, and this is quite important, the Laketown player places all their models within the southern half of the border. So participants are your battle company, so your battle company as it is when it starts will play this game against 4 Laketown Guard, 4 Laketown Guard with spear and 4 Laketown Guard with bow. So they will face heavy opposition, but obviously there are rules to surmount that. Objectives are victory. You've rescued the captive and moved at least 33% of their models off the board edge via the southern board edge, including the captive. Defeat, your warband has not managed to rescue the captive, and a draw is any other results. There's special rules for the scenario as well. The captive does not deploy with the rest of your warband, but instead is kept to one side for use later in the game. Your battle company must rescue the captive from the master's prison cells. To do this, the door must be broken down. It has a defense of 7 and 2 wounds, and always counts as trapped. Once the door has been broken down, the captive can escape, place them in base contact with the door. They act as normal from this point onwards. And then all the Laketown Guard are sentries. So Laketown Guard follow the rules for sentries found in the infiltrate and assassinate scenario on page 46 in this book. Note that neither side is actually trying to kill the other, just to incapacitate or arrest them. This also means that all your models will count as having rolled full recovery on the respective injury charge. So there's no chance of having fatal fatalities during this game. You will gain experience, and you will gain upgrades if you gain enough experience during this game. But it will make that every battle company starts on an equal footing, in the sense of you will not have losses during the first game. And you have a list of rewards, which is really cool. So if you were victorious in this scenario, roll on the chart below and to see what reward your battle company receives. On a roll of a 1, your battle company has been focused upon the rescue of their ally, but has still managed to pick up a few small trinkets and coins that may be worth a small price. Battle company gains an additional 1 influence point. So you get a small but not insignificant bonus. 2. The ale from the tavern has left a lasting impression on the company, and they have made sure to borrow a barrel from the cellar before they leave Escroth. Select one hero from your battle company. This hero gains the Dwarven Brew equipment without having to spend influence points. So Dwarven Brew is a 2 influence point item, and it gives you... what does it give you? It gives you... a hero may select to use their Dwarven Brew at the start of any game. If they do so, it has been used and is removed from the hero's profile. Every model within the hero's battle company adds +1 to the courage value for the remainder of the game. So quite a nice bonus to have. On a 3, your company's discussions in the tavern were overheard by a rather merry individual. This is the one your Adam Troke got during his campaign. One has decided that they are joining your quest. As the man will not be dissuaded, it is more trouble than it's worth to get rid of him. Your company relents. Permanently add a single Laketown militia to your battle company. They cannot gain experience or be promoted. So only way to get rid of him is get him killed. So yeah. This is the drunkard, of course, Adam spoke about in the Twitch TV talk on Thursday. On a roll of 4, one of the Master's Guard has overheard your battle company's plans to venture to Fornos. They have offered their services to your cause and join you on your adventure, no doubt increasing their own wealth. Permanent, add a single Laketown Guard to your battle company. They will gain experience and be promoted in the same way as Laketown Guard from the Laketown Guard battle company. On a 5, whilst in the Master's prison, the captive has gleaned as much information as the quest that the companies have been able to embark upon from those who share the cells, including some interesting news on whatever dwells within Fornost. During the final narrative scenario, you may choose to re-roll the d6 when determining what evil lurks in the ruins. Note this down on your record sheet, you'll need to remember it. So this gives you an advantage in the final scenario after you played, by then, hopefully 16 games. And lastly, as your battle company was searching for their ally, they stumbled across the Master's many treasure hoards and eagerly helped themselves to its spoils. Your battle company immediately gains an additional d6 influence points. So, very interesting stuff, and I will not spoil the rest for you. But I do really like this type of campaign. They have said there will be an evil one available in White Wolf and a future time, and you can play this as an evil warband. Note that there will be differences. You'll not gain the drunkard or the Laketown Guard as an evil player. You will either get instead a roll on the progression chart for the hero. And then you have some nice warbands. So both Adam, Jay have included their warband as example warbands with some really cool pictures and conversions in this. You have also Nick Baton's in Ministereth warband, Rob McFarlane's Mordor warband, David Whittaker's Dol Guldur warband, James Braun's Halls of Thranduil, Duncan Rhodes' Arnor, Jason Lee's Iron Hills. So a lot of fond names from the GBHL are included here and shown off in the book, and I think that is wonderful. And there's even rules to use the battle companies in large games, and even a scenario which is called the Grand Battle, where you play a normal game and then you add your battle companies and they come in as reinforcements. And on the final page there's a roster sheet you can use to note your battle company's progression. And that is the book. So I hope you found that interesting. I really love this book. I have read through it a couple of times already, and I'm in love. This is a campaign I played when it came out as an employee of Games Workshop. This is a campaign I started again as an employee of Games Workshop in store. This is the reason why STF was founded. This is a way to recruit new members, and old members will have fond battles playing cool games against cool people. There's possibilities to do this as a tournament, there's possibilities to use this as a narrative campaign. It is so many options using this rule set, and I do think you will find some hints to the future of the game in this book. And I'll give you one single example, and that's wargear. So, for 1 influence point, you may swap your hand weapon for another type. A model may change the type of hand weapon they possess for any of the following: axe, club, dagger, flail, hammer, pick, mace, maul, scourge, staff, or sword. Warriors who exchange the type of hand weapon will cost an additional 1 point when working out your battle company rating. Note that this costs 5 points for heroes. Is that a hint of the future? I hope so. So yeah, comment below what battle company you would like me to do a special video about first. Otherwise I'll just do it in the order they are presented in the book. Tell me if you like this video, tell me if you want to play battle companies. If you live in the Oslo area, tell me if you want to be part of a battle companies campaign. And yeah, as always guys, please comment, like, share and subscribe. Consider supporting SDF on Patreon using the links in the description below. And as always, support your hobby.